All right, now we are on the section of how to create a loop, aka a transaction. So get familiar with loop equals transaction. We're basically creating that loop for us, the client, the co-broke, the title company, the office. Everybody's invited into the loop, or the cloud as some people like to call it as well. But loop equals transaction. So we're going to actually create the transaction. A very simple process. I mean, obviously, if you've done your activation step here on this side, which you have, activated your transactions, when you go into my KW, you're all set. So you'll see the green button here. If you do not, make sure you go back and take the step to activate your My Transactions. But from here, you got a couple ways to start a transaction. Hover over Transactions, click Start New Transaction, or Show Options, Start New Transaction. I like this one. I just hover there and I click Start New Transaction. And now all I have to do is, if I'm going to be doing a listing, and check with your office on this, they should also be able to put in the form sets for you so that you can just, if you're doing a residential listing, it'll grab all the forms you need for that. Same with different types for your office. So just check with them and see if you guys don't have them, if you guys could get your form sets in there. That way when you create a listing, you don't have to add every individual form. So all I would do is, I'm going to do a residential listing, click there, create the listing loop. And then I'm going to do the property. So I'm going to do 123 Jim Bop Avenue, because I've already used Anywhere Avenue too many times. The city is in Rochester, Minnesota, 55901. So I want to put that in there. I want to make sure I have the full address and make sure that it is correct, because that's going to be going on to every single form. And what it does is it searches to see if it's already in the system, because if it is one of your listings, it can grab that information. But it's not, so then I just hit continue. And then here is your forms. So the forms in the loop. So it automatically added all the forms that my office requires for a residential listing packet. I have the ability to add more if I need them. And they're all over here, and it's so easy to add forms. If you just start typing the name of the form, and it'll pull it up. So if I need the lead-based paint, I just start typing in lead. It'll eliminate everything else that doesn't have that in it, and it leaves me just with the lead form. Or if it's FHA financing, then all I do is I click on it and then hit add. And same with the lead again. So lead, do that and hit add. And then they are put to the bottom of my list. I can move them up if I want to, however I want. And then I'm ready to create the loop. So I click create loop. Next thing it's going to ask is for my client's information. And this is something that a trick that I like to do. Let's say they are willing to do the electronic process. Perfect. You can check if they're already in your system and type in their name, and it'll search the eEdge system for that client. If they're not in your system and you need to add them, make sure you have your email address, their email address at this point to do it. But let's say you don't have it and you still want to do this process where you can electronically sign the form. Just click new client, and this is going to be Karen has no email. So she has no email. This is just a trick that I found works really nice, or I can actually go in and do the forms with somebody who does not have an email. I just put in need email45@gmail.com, because what it's also going to do is add it to my eEdge system. So this client that I add here that was not in my eEdge is now going to be in there, and it's nice to have the need email. So if I ever pull her up, I can see that I still need to get that client's email address. So then I hit save. And then I can add another client as well, so I can add both sides to that if I need to, but it's just one. Then I hit save and continue, and now I'm filling out my forms. So it's going to ask you to fill everything out, and then you can jump to any form you want within the loop, or just go in order of the loop. So I can go to the next form, or I can just hit save and complete. And then what it does is it brings you to a confirmation page saying, yep, alright, that is complete, and I say, yep, continue. And then I'm on to my next form. And if I need to sign anything, you'll see the pink. I just click and drop and choose my name. And then I hit save and complete. And then it's going to ask me for my password to sign it. Every time you need to sign a form, it is going to ask you for your password. Not per page, but per form you'll have to sign. So then I continue. I'm good. And it brings me to my next form and agency relation. Taking a second to pull that up. I can see it's 2 pages. I can jump to any page of that form. I can just quickly open this file as a PDF if I wanted to. And then I can also jump back to a form, or jump to a future form, or even add a form that I did not add. So again, you can add, if you need to go back to your form library and you forgot a form, you can add and remove a form quickly by clicking on that. But then your job will basically be to go through the rest of the forms. Let's say you have not got all the way through your forms and you got interrupted. All you do, it's automatically saved. My computer could crash right now, and everything I did was saved after I hit the save and complete or the save button. The difference between save and save and complete means you're finished with that form, you're ready to sign it. Save means just save it, I'm going to come back to it later. But under this listing loop summary, if I click on that, now I'm brought to all the forms in that packet, and it's telling me exactly where I left off. So I finished that form, I'm ready to send that to the client. I could send that off to him if I wanted to. Most likely I want to get everything filled out and just send him one email and not sending him multiple emails. But all you do then, let's say, okay, I came back later, I can now start this form. Click, and it's going to bring me right to that form to fill out, and then I just continue on through that form. I don't have to sign it, I can do save and complete, and we're good to go. And then once you get to the end of it, and I won't do it because it's just too many forms, all you would do, I can go back to my listing loop summary, select all, and hit send, and send them all online for them to sign it. I can send it as a PDF, or I can also send that file as a fax. So that's a quick overview on starting the transaction.